Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. I almost pushed the gun button. What is going on, humans? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
I mean, other things watch our show, probably. I think my dog's watching.
Hola.
Hola, because my dog speaks Spanish. What's up, guys? My name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMay3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, we have to pay tribute to one of our fallen soldiers, one of our friends of the show who is no longer a Dodger. We will talk about that. We're going to talk about the trade deadline, which came and went with no major signings, but there were moves made, and we will talk about them because this is a baseball show, apparently. I've been told.
We do baseball.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And there's no Gary today, so we will be sort of more on time. Hi, Gary.
A little bit. Just a little bit, but we're going to talk about that.
We were probably more the problem last week.
Yeah, we talked a lot last week. I don't know if you guys know, but we went an hour and a half last week, and we do not usually do that. We're going to talk about some of your... well, we're on a stretch. We're on a... What are we at now? 30-something games into the season?
36, Bob.
Don't know
36.
how many games we're into the season, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to break it down, what they've been doing the past couple of days. They just got back from a little... got back from a little home stretch. They're back. They're home
stretch.
Yeah. That thing.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about some records that the Dodgers break over this past week because they did some things and they did it in a terrible ballpark. So that's really good. We're going to talk about that as well as
bubble trouble. There's playoff talk.
No context there. We're just going to call it bubble
context.
trouble.
Speaking of context, we are a podcast. That was not really a transition, but if you like podcasts and we are one of now the lesser many Dodger podcasts around. Rip strip.
There's now one less Dodger podcast. We
are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Pandora, all the spots you can find us. So go there, subscribe to us, all that stuff, and it'll help us feel meaty on the inside. That's a thing. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. That will make Brooke feel meaty on the inside.
It does make me feel meaty on the inside. Guys, don't forget, this is a live stream. We know you guys are watching. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions. We would like to hear your tears through the comments, if at all possible. So make sure you drop in. Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation tonight. We will try our best to shout you out because we want to make sure that we are engaging with you as much as possible because we like you.
Jumping right into them comments. We got Andre Benitos is World Series bound on YouTube. We can give him the most sacrilegious award he can get, which is an air horn, because we like the positive thinking. We are World Series bound. Sailed Loner says media on the inside. That's what she said. Obviously. Thank you for being a friend of the show. A couple points that way. Eric, friend of the show. Eric, over under on how many Jim Beam shots I have no Jim Beam yet. We are honestly too scared to open any of them because then they look less pretty.
They're so pretty. Look at them.
Yeah,
look at all these fine soldiers lined up.
There's two behind Brooks' head. There's two under the hidden Vinny over here, along with that. So, yep. Bvog on YouTube says the bubble is a joke. Not letting us play at home is dumb. Texas is an AL state, which it is, and he's getting ahead of us there. But that's basically the narrative of that subject. So thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you guys.
Jim over on Facebook says, howdy boys from Nebraska. Jim is the one who made me laugh very much about talking about Nebraska.
Called himself like the old boring Nebraska guy or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But it was really funny, whatever it was. Annette over on Facebook says, hello from Pendleton, Oregon. Hello, Annette. Thank you for tuning in with us.
Kate says, mustache A+ with 3 of these. 3 of these.
These?
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's good.
Press1619's on the stream. Says, hi, missed you guys. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Hope you like your Dodgers moves. One bad move, sort of, and your Marlins moves for Marte for some reason.
I think he got traded to the Padres, too.
Oh, well. Oh, me. Oh, my.
Everybody and their mom got traded to the Padres, so that's good.
Hatfield's in the stream, of course. Katie says, chicken strip is gone. Can the world stop making me sad lately? I know. It's very... It's big time, sad times here, and we're going to get there in a
We
little
like
bit.
to cry, It's just figured we just get all of our crying out in 2020, so that way for the year's future, we don't have to do any more. I really appreciate that, world. We appreciate that. Juice Lee over on Periscope says, hola, papi, Brooke, and Clint. What's going on, my big dog? friend of the show. Deborah says, nice haircut, Brooke. Deborah, thank you for noticing. Not enough people comment when I get a haircut, and I'm very proud of it. And, it's a lot of hard work. You got to go all the way to your barber. He's got to cut your hair outside because that's the world we live in now. Mm-hmm. And I hate haircuts, and it feels good. Look good, feel good.
You drink me to driving.
Yeah, I understand that. Eric says that he plans to distract us, so
should we just take no Eric comments today?
Just don't respond to any of them. No, because then he'll put a lot of comments.
Absolute sadness. Roach is in the stream. Our good friend Roach. He says, my 2-year-old daughter watches you, but she doesn't really have a choice. So it's good to force them into the show. Young, that's still a human. That is a human.
I think kids are technically humans, even though they don't act like it.
Well, when in Rome. All right, guys, let's dig into it. Week in review. So I was gone this weekend, enjoying life for the first time in quite some time,
and we're proud of you for that.
It was. You know what? I didn't burn as much.
What's
as I
it like out there in the world?
Wet. Oh, I got on my WAP. It was a wet ass pontoon.
I see what you did there. Yep, that's good. But while you were gone on your pontoon, the Dodgers had a little bit of a road trip, a little bit of one, and they finished up 4-2 on their road trip. They, to walk away from any road trip with a winning record feels good, right? Yes. But also losing 2 of those games to those teams, a little hairy.
Yeah.
Rough.
They still maintain their record of no lost series this season. Now that I've said that, it's probably going to happen this week. Because we haven't really said it open air.
No.
Everybody else has.
We haven't. I haven't said it really anywhere, but they lose a game to the Giants, which let's just call it what it is. The Dodgers are going to lose to the Giants this year every once in a while. Yeah. It's just going to happen, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Losing a game to the Rangers didn't feel right. It wasn't necessarily right that they lost a game in general. It's that they lost to Mike Minor and then smashed on Lance Lynn, which is really just backwards, and it sums up 2020 perfectly. So I appreciate that, guys. But they remain the best team in baseball by about a game and a half coming into today. They're the best in the NL by quite a bit, and they are first in the West, 5 games up in the Padres. The Padres just got a lot better, but realistically, did they get better? Technically they got better.
Yeah, they got better.
Technically they did.
They also, as we mentioned earlier in the show, the Dodgers did become record setters. They recorded their 11,000th franchise victory, which is go ahead. A lot. So I
was going to do 11,000.
Yeah, a lot more. We're going to be here for a while.
We needed some time.
They also got this National League home run record for most in a month. It was like 50, 60 something. A good number of them. But where do you stand on that? Before we get into the trade deadline stuff, before we get into the Ross stuff, because we lost a dear friend of the show of ours today. How do you feel about this home run record? National League home run record in the season where the DH exists.
I'm interested to find out what fans think about this, because it's
it seemed like it was a heavy topic.
It did, but then you look at it and you're like, is this really actually a big deal? Because you start thinking about it. And there's really good timing on that one.
Right.
You look at the records, and it's like the top 5. 3 of the top 5 have all come in the last 3 seasons or something like that. Home runs have been on the rise for a very long time. Obviously, there's the juice ball that played into it a little bit. We're going to say a little bit, but just a bit. It's a different game that we're playing. Home runs are just a part of the everyday process. And so if you're looking at it and you're saying like, whoa, you broke the home run record, you're like, yeah, that's really cool. Like, you look at that and even my wife was like, that's a lot of home runs for a month. And if you guys don't know, she doesn't really watch baseball except with me. It is impressive. It's a number. Mookie Betts was like, even Mookie Betts was like, I don't care. Oh yeah, that's cool. I don't really care. But he is just that guy. Like, he, no matter what he does, when he got his 1,000th hit, it was like, hey, how do you feel? What is? He's like, yeah, I'm just looking for World Series rings. Yeah. Like, I don't. It's great. I appreciate it.
He is very much staunchly stood behind that over and over. It's World Series rings. I'm here for rings, not rings. That's all he cares about. In the same way, it's kind of the same breath you can talk about Clayton Kershaw. has said time and time again over his decade plus in the league, I don't care. I'll look at the personal stuff when I'm done with my career. I care about the team. I care about the team winning. And, you know, he picked up a record along the way, too, last week.
Yeah. I mean, he's
the winningest left-handed pitcher in Major League history, I think, by winning percentage.
By winning percentage, yeah, which people were very not happy about being reported. They were like, he's not the all-time. He doesn't have the all-time most wins, but in terms of percentage, he has the best. He even said it. He's like, I just have played on a lot of good teams. You know, it kind of just ended up that way. I don't really know what else to say.
Assailed Loner says the record is tainted. Stupid DH. I kind of side more that way. The DH does play a big role. I don't know how many home runs. We probably should have looked into this. If anybody's out there who has Baseball Reference or that one guy, Fangraph open.
That Fangraph guy? Yeah.
I don't know how many homers that have come via the DH from LA this year, but it does make a difference either way because if more guys are getting on base, there's more opportunities for at-bats, all that kind of stuff. So it plays either way. Edwin says, valid record, but still an asterisk on it. I don't know if it's necessarily an asterisk. It's more of just like does it really matter? Is it something that you're going to talk about for a long time? No, it's probably one of those things that you're going to reference as like a random trivia thing with your buddies when you're drinking 25 Modelo's and some Jim Beam later. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, it's a cool record. I think it's great. I personally, I hate home runs. Like I hate that. I don't really like what baseball's become. I'm a small ball guy. I like pitching duels. I like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is, but thank you. I appreciate that. With that being said, it's cool. It's something as a Dodger fan in 2020 to be like, hey, I can hang my hat on this at least. I didn't get to go to any Dodger games. I didn't get to buy any Micheladas. I didn't get to enjoy games with my friends. I didn't get to have fun because fun doesn't exist in this world anymore. But at least my Dodgers broke the single month home run record. At least there's that. Yeah.
Fredo over on YouTube says the same thing. He says records mean little without rings. This team has to be all about the rings.
Yeah,
and we're at that point.
Yeah. To kind of complete that whole thought process on that, it can go both ways. Where it is cool to have that record, but it's also somewhat tainted. It's somewhat an inaccurate record, but it's not because that's how baseball is now. In the same way we've had the conversations about what's the value of a World Series win in a 60-game season? Well, that's the equal playing field. That's what everybody has. You know, I think it's a National League record, but all the other home run records have been set by AL teams because they have DH. Now we're evening the playing field. Things work out that way, but I was going to say we don't. It was a huge debate back in those days, back in Gary's day, who's not with us today, but
who's no longer with us.
The Roger Maris home run record when he hit 61, who beat Ruth's 50 some odd or 59. I forget what the number was.
Much.
I wasn't there. I was not there all the way back in them days, but that was a huge narrative, a huge talking point. Now, no, it's not. It's Big Mac's record or whatever. No, I mean it's the other guy, the big head one.
The one with the big head.
Yeah, Barry Bonds. That's his record, and he earned it the old-fashioned way, steroids,
just like we all do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it. We want to talk about on the home run record. Do we? Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Next, we got to talk about something important, guys. This is if you guys have been with us for any period of time, if you've been a friend of the show for more than a year, maybe even a little less than that, you know that we have known to love Ross Stripling. Over the course of the past year, we've gotten to know him very well. He's been a guest on the show a couple of times now. He's been a guy that we get to talk to probably more than anybody else, and he is one of the more welcoming people in all of baseball, I would say, as a player. Has his own podcast, so he definitely understands the struggles that go along with that. So he's super helpful with people. You all right?
The hat.
Oh, okay.
Big Swing
Podcast. And so the Dodgers today made the decision at not even the 11th hour. We're like the 15th hour. We're way past it. It came in a lot later than everything else, but the Dodgers made a decision to send our beloved chicken strip to Toronto/Buffalo, since they're playing in Buffalo now.
The Toronto Blue Jays of Buffalo.
He is a Buffalo chicken strip, if you will. And that I wanted to get your feelings on it from an emotional standpoint, and then from a baseball standpoint. Because from an emotional standpoint, obviously, I love Ross. I've really got to know him well over the past year or so. He's been nothing but respectful. And I said it on Twitter. He's a guy that just makes you feel really important, even if you're not. Like, we are not very important people. And when he talks to us, it's like we're Ken Rosenthal. I'm like, dude, I appreciate that. Thanks for the attention. Thank you for your time. All that.
I think you hit the nail on the head there on your Twitter account at BrookMe3 on Twitter. Check him out. But my gut feeling, my is the closest we have to like a friend who's we've had beers with him, we've shot the shit with him and all that kind of stuff, but we've also picked his brain about different things. So my initial reaction was that of a sad trombone. It sucks, but on the baseball front, it made a lot of sense. He got his leash, he got his run. If anything, in a 60-game season, he got more run than, I wouldn't say deserved, but than expected. Right. And it didn't really mesh with him, even if the pitches were good, and he was saying quite often that his pitches felt good. He felt really close. We didn't get too much of that feeling, and the ERA didn't give too much of that feeling. And while there was probably time to kind of play around with it in terms of how far ahead the Dodgers are, it made sense logistically for both parties. The Dodgers were going with Tony Gonsolin, and Tony has absolutely earned that spot. Still officially has not given up an earned run this season, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they charged it.
Yeah, he got charged with it, So he has
one. So one earned run in like 20 some odd innings, or 19 innings pitched this year. Tony's been fantastic. Tony's earned that spot. Same way Dustin May has taken Alex Wood's spot. Dustin May is probably, very likely, your National League Rookie of the Year, and I'm thinking in the next week or two we should probably talk about awards again or re-up on that. But the way Andrew Friedman talked about Ross today, it was the right move, because you can't just they could not move him back to the bullpen. It would not be fair to somebody that's meant so much to the organization. Where I feel really bad for the dude is that this is, since 17, this is the most likely World Series potential champion team. Probably could have said that all better. This team has the best chance to win a World Series this year, and it sucks that he's not going to be a part of it. He will be a part of it. He played a role. He ate up a lot of innings. He was our best starter at the beginning of the season for like 2 or 3 games. But as Friedman said, this was an extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult moving Ross. He's absolutely a major league starting pitcher and has a lot. It's been a function of just kind of the timing, the bad timing of it. So he said they were looking out to next year, and you see D-May needing innings, needing space. You see David Price coming back most likely next year. You see Tony Gonsolin being ready, but also you got friend of the show Josiah Gray, who's somebody who's there. Mitch White has got 1-2 innings all season after being called up a couple of times. Ross was the most expendable, and while he would have been an upgrade in the bullpen over somebody like Dennis Santana, who's struggling right now, he doesn't deserve that. He deserves an opportunity to go out there, get his innings, get his numbers, get his money. Dude's 30 now. You can't just keep, using him the way they have been.
He got his money.
He got his money.
Smart guy there. People are sounding off in the comments, but to quote a great poet, that shit hurted. I don't know. I don't even know if there is one in there.
That's just.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in the comments. A lot of people, talking about the realistic side of it. Yeah, he had a pretty down year. Yeah, there probably wasn't a spot for him. Yeah, he was not going back to the bullpen. But when you look at it from an emotional standpoint, from a fan standpoint, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks to lose that guy. It sucks to lose that personality. Mm-hmm. Arguably one of the better, if not, I'd say the best baseball podcast of players for sure. Mm-hmm. There are other players podcasts, and they not good. No. It's hard to put that much time into a podcast when you're a professional baseball player, but he definitely found some time to do it. He did a very good job of it, along with his buddy over there, Mr. Cooper, another friend of the show. So we're gonna miss them. I mean, we'll still talk to Cooper. We'll still be friends with Cooper probably.
I mean, they're both friends of the show now. We just have a friend of whenever we play Toronto.
Whenever that happens again,
because that's never happened.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be missed, but like you said, it's going to play up long term. Tony was the first thought that I had. I was like, well, this is just a move for Tony, because you got Buehler, who's going to be back on his next rotation as soon as he can come off the injured list. It sounds like he's going to be back. You have Alex Wood, who's on his way back, probably doesn't deserve like a spot anywhere, but somehow is on his way back, and I don't even know what they're going to do with him when he gets here.
He deserves an opportunity to get an opportunity.
He does. And then you have Julio, Julio is arguably struggling, but also his numbers would tell you that he's not. It's just weird. He's in a weird spot right now because he's not making it deep into games, and he's not getting the opportunity to get crushed. So I think Dave has really managed him very well in the sense of like, hey, you're not on it today. I'm pulling you. Let's get out of here. With that being said, there's a lot of dudes that could still be in the starting rotation and be very good. We also forget that David Price is coming back next year. Yeah. That's another side of it that we haven't even considered. I wanted to know, were you surprised that they didn't, not that they didn't land a big name. I wasn't expecting them to land a big name. I was like, maybe they'll land Lance Lynn, but probably not. Were you surprised that they kept around so many of their guys that are in their final year? Like the Pedro Baez's, the Jock Petersons, the Kike Hernandez's of the world.
Baez is on the IL. He wasn't going anywhere. Right. At some point, he's going to play a role in this bullpen. If you're going to move him, you were probably going to want to try to move him for a bullpen guy. There was, while he wasn't necessarily ever linked to LA, there was the Josh Hader in the news sort of thing. I think that would have Hader made less sense for the club, because there are so many really good left-handed pitchers in the relief corps. So it's just kind of weird. I mean, obviously you don't want to say, hey, I don't want somebody who's an elite arm, but at the same time, kind of dealing with the baggage that comes along with it, even if, he has done some stuff to rehab his image and all that. There's just not enough. There's not enough out there for people to have got that image. The sort of, I don't know if it's a paradigm shift with him or whatever, but that would have been one of the few. Maybe, like, I was messing with Gary earlier online, like the idea of getting Archie Bradley because there was more of a need of right-handed relief. But imagine that, Archie. Myself, Bradley.
I would not sit well with Archie Bradley. I do not like Archie Bradley at all.
The Dodgers made the best move they could, which was not bringing anybody in. Their moves were already made when they got Mookie, when they got Brusdar, and inexplicably Jake McGee. That worked somehow.
Their move of the deadline was calling up a top prospect to come play second base and hit right-handed pitchers. What do you know about that?
So I didn't see a whole lot of Lux this weekend because I was having fun. How did he look? Not good.
He looks scared. He looks like you would imagine a top prospect to look in his first couple weeks in the big leagues. The difference being he played last year in the last month and in the playoffs, with fans, mind you.
Couple of knocks and a dinger in the playoffs.
Maybe you guys in the comments have noticed this a little bit, but he's in between pitches, taking a step out of the box, taking a really big breath to gather himself, and then stepping back in, not taking a ton of hacks, and then he also let the bat fly and went to the screen. So that's a pretty good sign of a guy who's pressing or nervous. That tends to happen when you're a little bit of timid.
Rookie yips.
A little bit, yeah. But he collected his first hit. He's been hitting the ball. He's been putting the barrel on the ball, which is good. That's a start. But he's gonna need some more time. He's not gonna just pop into place all of a sudden.
Do you think it's something where maybe they overhyped him in the offseason a little bit?
I mean, maybe
he was around.
The fact that he came up on the team so late,
after such a huge season in the minor leagues,
and then stayed with the team through the playoffs. That almost, by the way, never happens. I mean, Corey Seager didn't do that either. You think about big names, you're like, oh, well, Corey probably did that. No, he came up with the team late in September and did pretty well, but didn't stay up.
Yeah,
you think about that, and then you're like, maybe they put too much on him. Maybe that's too much weight on one guy, a young guy. Especially a guy who performed so damn well during his minor league career. Like, he was just crushing the ball. So he might need a little bit of time. He's going to need to straighten up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he probably even put a lot of pressure on himself. Like, to be a almost 22-year-old or whatever, you had less than a month of major league time under your belt. You're going out making YouTube channels and getting haircuts on it and working out. You might have overdone it a little bit.
And then the fact that he,
There's nothing wrong with branding. Players need to brand themselves better.
Cooper jumped in and said, noted Astros and Dodgers fan turned Blue Jays fan. You're just the international Major League Baseball fan, Cooper, and we're very proud of you for that. And you're going to be real good at sports.
Cooper pointed out that he has to travel to Toronto a few times for work a year, so that works out for him. But where are you at on the Buffalo scale? Because Strip's going to Buffalo. Toronto Blue Jays of Buffalo.
You really got to watch the whole show, Cooper.
Anyway, I'm going to take a minute here just to kind of shout out things that help us. So check out gearup.la. We got to remind you, the Houston Astros are coming to Los Angeles in, a week? 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Less than. So why not go get yourself a nice Joe Kelly, nice swing bitch shirt and yell at them from that hill where people are going and not social distancing in the background.
Not social distancing in the background.
Be smart if you're going to do anything like that. There's also some people that are trying to rent an airplane that has a flyer or something like that, a flag on the back. But the best way to crap all over them Astros is get yourself a nice swing bitch shirt from gearup.la.
Yeah, instead of buying something that has the actual Astros logo on it to spite them, how about something that has the Dodgers on it? There you go, yeah.
Our best friend and friend of former Dodgers pitcher Ross Stripling, Joseph Kelly.
Who will also not be ready for that series, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Other trades, other things that happened in this this kind of the 11th hour into 12th and 13th, 15th. It got a little weird, got a little out there.
I don't like it.
There was that conversation late in the game where the Dodgers were making a push at Landsland. It didn't mesh with me. It didn't make sense. I didn't think they were ever going to do that. But the Padres won the trade deadline. I want your noted Padres stan over here.
Yeah.
Brook Me 3. Where do you stand?
Look, guys, they got Mike Clevenger, so we're done for. There's no way we're going to survive this. They're going to the World Series 43 years in a row. There's no way. Here's the thing.
Paddock with their
here's the thing.
Over 5 FIPS.
Chris Paddock is garbage. He is a terrible pitcher this year. If you want to, if you're telling me that your game 1, 2, and 3 starters are Mike Clevenger, Chris Paddock, and Garrett freaking Richards. Or whatever, Lamet. Maybe you throw Lamet in there too. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to get crushed. There's no way. Here's my thing. The Padres' approach to this was, you know what? We really need arms. And they got Clevenger. Congratulations. He's not a top arm. He's maybe a number 4 or 5 starter on a bad team, which he is on. Their approach was, maybe we should just score more runs instead of getting defense and pitching to stop the runs. Let's just score more runs. So they got Nola. Nola's a good pickup for them, by the way. I think that's probably my favorite pickup for them all. Mitch Moreland, another really big pickup for them because he's consistent, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call him consistent because he's in the middle of the greatest year of his career right now. He's hitting, 320 some odd. He's got 9 dingers.
He's the guy that comes through in big situations, though.
I'll give you that. And he's a upgrade in all aspects over Eric Hosmer, the overpaid, terrible acquisition that those Padres made. The guy who, with his ill-gotten Gold Glove or gloves, I don't know how many he has, but whatever. He's not very good. So Moreland is actually a good first baseman that helps all around. I don't know enough about Nola's defense at catcher. I know either way they're probably going to take a step down over Austin Hedges because that dude was a beast with the glove. But also he couldn't hit his weight.
No,
so
he could only hit off Kenley. That's it. Those were his terms. You look at that, and you look at the guys that they've acquired, and obviously they've gotten a few good arms. They've gotten a few good bats. They've changed things up a little bit. I still just don't see any way that the Padres compete with the Dodgers long term. I just don't see it happening. There's too much riding on hot streaks for them. A lot of their guys are currently on hot streaks, which is why they're doing so well. So when those guys come off, you're going to go back to a league average team. You're not going to be much more than that. They're going to make the playoffs. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. You look at the National League West and you're like, well, the Diamondbacks pretty much sold off. They pretty much decided, hey, we're not competing this year. The Giants, for some reason, think they can compete this year. And, kudos to them for that. The Rockies, another team that think they can compete this year. They won't.
Who the Rocks got? Pilar and somebody else, or just Pilar?
They got a pitcher. I forget who, but they got Pilar. That's their big get of the trade deadline. So Arizona, going on to Arizona, they ship Archie Bradley off to Cincinnati. So Archie is a Red, which is fantastic for him. Good job, Archie. You're going to a contender. You're going to a team that can actually play.
Reds need they need pitching help so bad.
Robbie Ray goes to Toronto. He's one of those guys that I think would profile better as a reliever when I look at him. I've kind of thought that.
Unless he's starting against the Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah. Throughout his career, I've kind of always seen him like, hey, that guy would be a pretty good reliever. He is having a rough year. Don't let him fool you on that. He's having a rough year. But I've seen a lot of people say that the numbers maybe not be representative of him. So him and Ross might be competing for a 5th starting spot. So that'd be interesting.
If Ross gets traded over there and has to compete for a role, they're about to catch some hands.
Oh, dude. I'll come out to Toronto. I mean, the other one. Buffalo. My bad. And then, more importantly, they shipped Starling Marte off to the Marlins, which was
shocking.
A surprise.
Weird.
And P, weird.
Very, very weird.
Yeah, and then Colorado gets Pilar. A little bit of a shakeup in the National League West.
Yeah, Toronto picks up 3 starters with Ray and Strip, and who was the other guy? They got another human body pitcher man whose name escapes me at the moment.
That one.
Yeah. They did things. They made their stuff. But obviously the Padres, in terms of things that the Dodgers care about, even though we don't necessarily care about them in the division.
Nah.
I hope that it really helps, because I think it would be a lot more fun and exciting to have the final couple weeks. There's 3 more games. I think the Dodgers played the 2 with Houston and then go to that place for 3 in San Diego. LA Sports Report, thank you. LASportsReport.com. Taiwan Walker went to the Jays too. Thank you, Daniel. But the Padres did make some really good moves. Did you cut yourself over there, Chief?
I did, yeah.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Clevenger is a good move to help them out, just because even if he's not as good, there's so much hype around him, and he is a good pitcher. He does have a very good upside, and he has a few more years of team control, even though he's going to get really pricey over there in San Diego. He gives them that feeling of feeling more important, I guess. They're going to feel like they made their club that much better because they went and got a air quote bona fide ace.
Yeah, I mean, whatever Padres fans need to help them sleep at night. But I just thought it was really funny after the day today to see the number of Padre fans that are like, hey, we're on the same level as the Dodgers. Yeah. It was like, you're not, man.
On Twitter, it went a little bad.
It was pretty funny to watch. And we'll let them have this one. We'll let them enjoy their day before we ruin it.
Importantly, on Twitter right now, chicken strip is trending in California. So, Ross, you are loved. And you will be missed. We did it, Reddit. Trevor Rosenthal went to San Diego.
Is that Kenny's brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good move. Quality move. I don't know if that's better, though, than Cal Quantrill, who's done good out of their pen and moving around in the past. So.
They also got the that Taylor Williams boy over there from Seattle. So they're really bolstering that bullpen.
Press 1619 says these Padres fans are delusional, and that is a... we can give that a Jim Beam hot take.
They should convert Paddock to a reliever.
I mean, you gotta get up in that mention. Hey, Gary, make sure you link at him at Padres #Padres.
His stuff plays up better out of the bullpen than it does in the starting rotation. I'm just saying. I should be a manager.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are very sad right now
Tingler.
about the chicken strip online. But there's also just a lot of people that are posting about literally chicken strips.
Actual chicken strips?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the internet is a confusing place. Back to you in the studio.
And we like chicken strips.
They still have not said who they got in return for Stripling. If I'm not mistaken, I will do that.
It's players to be named later, which in this particular case probably means that there is somebody not on the 60-man roster that they're trying to get, and you cannot trade somebody not on the 60-man roster right now.
That's true.
So that player would likely be named after the season. Once literally the day after the World Series ends, they're allowed to name that player. If you guys don't know how players to be named later works, oftentimes what it will do is the team making the trade will give them a list of players that they can choose from, and then they can pick out those players. That's how it works a lot of the times. Not every single time. There's a lot of things discussed. It sounds like that the Dodgers got a prospect, according to Andrew Friedman, that they got a prospect that they've been looking at for a while, and they like what he can do. That's all he said about him, which if Andrew Friedman likes him, I like him.
I trust little NDF.
Kind of a little bit of an insult to the other one because he didn't say anything about the other one, but hey,
and the rest
got their guy. So it sounds like maybe one guy that is on the 60-man roster or maybe in the top 30 prospects. I don't know what it's going to end up being. Somebody said like the number 7 prospect, and I was like, I don't think you're getting a number 7 prospect for Chicken Strip, but hey,
2018 National League All-Star. Just saying.
Whatever. I don't know. But that being said, you're going to get some sort of future prospect, some guy who's going to help us long term. Nate Pearson.
Before we get into a little bit more around the league, I want to jump into the comments because I see a good one right here that I want to help out. We got over on Periscope. We got asked, has there been any news on Edwin Rios? Does he still have an injury? I haven't seen him. Yes, Eddie is fine. He probably should have been back already, but he can and will be back as early as Tuesday, tomorrow, today. If you're listening to the podcast on the day it releases, if you listen to it a day afterwards, it would have been yesterday. You can figure out the math from there. Chances are you see Eddie back this week, dropping some long dongs into the night. Home runs, that is.
Yep. Good job there. A little bit around the league. We're going to jump around the league a little bit because other stuff happened. We have to talk about trades all over the place. Things
Chicago got better.
The Cubs. How would you describe their bullpen before today?
Ooh, hot, flaming garbage trash.
And how would you describe it now?
Hot garbage.
Okay, so a step up. They moved up. They moved up a
couple rungs. They picked up Archie. They got Andrew Chafin. I don't know what a Josh Osich is.
Osich is a Red Sox guy who throws the baseball.
Yeah, they got a couple of lefties and Archie Bradley. They also picked up off the scrap heap AJ Ramos, who was released by the Dodgers last week from the training site because
I'm really sad about that.
Well, I mean, we've heard from Dave last week a lot about it. That he just. Dude, he's been out of baseball for like 2-3 years.
He has not played baseball in a while.
Sure, he looked good on his promo videos, but you know what they say about the internet, you can make everything look good.
He looked good on summer internet. Camp in his 1.1 innings.
Ooh, sign me up.
Against the checks notes Angels.
Yeah, he wasn't going to crack the Dodgers, so give him a chance over there. We'll see how that goes. I don't think...
My favorite part of the trade deadline is the fact that the Angels became sellers in all the wrong ways. That was my favorite part. They didn't sell off their guys that could have got them back premium talent. They sold off guys that didn't matter. They kept Dylan Bundy. They kept Andrelton Simmons. They kept everybody else, but they sold off Brian Goodwin. They sell off Tommy LaStella, and they sell off Jason Castro. So way to go, guys. You know, you got better.
I don't have an all I do is win button on here.
But that's the button right there.
That is the button.
That's my favorite part because the Angels are always going to be bad at baseball.
Spring Blur on YouTube says Cubs got the legendary Josh Osich. That's a hard name to say.
Yeah.
Especially when your mouth's like kind of like
speak English.
Dry. Was up in the mountain for the weekend. I also have to defend my and or our honor.
Huh?
Gregory on Facebook says, did you just grab a White Claw? If you did, hand in your man card. No, we don't drink White Claws unless they're around. But this is a covered up by Jim Beam. Hold on, wait. By my fancy Jim Beam sleeve here. Koozie, if you will. This is a Modelo. I do that. You know. And this is Monster Zero Ultra with a splash of Bucana because I wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah, we are a big Modelo show around here. So if you know anybody at Modelo, we would like to partner with them and Jim Beam.
I got the Jim Beam logo. I could put the well, I can't cover up Vinny, so I'll have to figure it out. I'll just get rid of you.
Just right here.
Yeah, just cut you out.
Yeah, I don't need to be anywhere.
But yeah, that was basically it. Katie already nailed it by saying we have Brewstar, so we automatically win everything.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
Those are FAX facts.
Yeah. She's not
Big
wrong.
Facts, yeah.
Brewstar, good kid, friend of the show.
Which is another way, again, that's how we won the trade deadline, by having Brewstar already. We're good.
We just got ahead of schedule, guys. That's all we did. We're really proud of us. I don't know. What is your opinion? Were you happy that the Dodgers really did nothing, or would you have liked to have seen more done? Obviously, chicken strip aside, we're not going to talk about that because we already did, but considering what they did not do, were you okay with it?
It was the right move. You already had the players you needed. Your trade deadline happened before the season, like I already mentioned earlier. You had Betts,
Right.
you got Brusdar, you got the unexpectedly really good Jake McGee, but then you called up Gonsolin, who is probably better than Mike Clevenger right now. Called up Gavin Lux, like you mentioned.
I would argue that Josiah Gray is better than Mike Clevenger right now.
And yeah, JoJo Gray is one like elite breaking pitch, secondary pitch away from being in the rotation, but he can absolutely be a fifth starter, swingman type right now, no doubt. That kid's got the stuff to make it happen. So no moves for LA was the right call for me, as you get another shout out for your haircut from Swag Daddy McGee.
Hell yeah.
On Twitch.
Thank you.
In your face, sucker.
What's the right call?
We love fluffing me up.
Juiced Lee, back two-timer, because I promoted him earlier, and shout out to Juice Lee on the internet. Thinks Merrifield wouldn't have been a bad pickup, but I don't know. Lux is probably better to me. I would personally, I have no problem just plugging in CT3 at second base and just leaving him there, and Kike can just go away.
Put him on a boat, and ship him off to.
Hey, don't you
Australia.
use boats for bad? Boats are fun.
You like boats, yeah.
Yeah, I was on a WAP. That's pontoon.
Personally, I like Merrifield. I think he's a good guy, good player. Would like to have him, but it sounds like Kansas City just really wants to hold on to that guy no matter what they're doing. They want him to go down with the ship, so that's on them. Bruce over on YouTube jumping in says, "Hi Dodgers from Portland, Oregon. What's good?
Okay, Bruce.
What's good, Bruce?
Thanks for hanging out.
What's good?
I'm doing my Rich Eisen.
It's good.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Every once in a
it.
while, like mixing in my Rich Eisen.
Brandon doesn't like us making fun of Kike.
And then leave the banana alone. That is a quality comment.
I will admit that I have gone in. I don't usually go in on players very often. That's not really my brand. I don't really like to do that. But
Because you're a coward, I get it. Yeah.
No, I like to go on the Padres. It's just easier and more fun.
Yeah,
But I've given Kike a little bit of a hard time over the past 2 weeks, and I think it's justified.
Good album.
Yeah.
Love you, JT. Shout out Justin
fan.
Timberlake. What about you? So we had my take. We've probably already had your take enough on the same subject, but whatever. It's later. We've been drinking a little bit more. Was it the right move to not move?
To not moves?
To not moves.
The problem wasn't that
To add.
The problem for me was not that they didn't land a big name. I didn't want Clevenger. Didn't want really Lance Lynn. I would have taken him if they had, paid the right price for him. I obviously would not have minded that.
Price.
Exactly. There's not much more on the people. People kept talking about JD Martinez, and I don't know why. I think just because versus left-handed pitching. We'll figure that crap out. It wasn't so much that we didn't land a big name as much as it was we did not trade from the depth that we need to trade from. There's a couple guys that are waiting in the minor leagues that just are blocked by role players, and those role players, a lot of them are about a year away, or a year. They are in their final year, or a year away from being in their final year. I think about guys like Kike. I think Kike can really be good for another team. I think there are teams that could use him a lot. I think the Blue Jays are one of those teams that could have used him. Obviously, they picked up another utility player. I forget who, but Kike could have been a guy to go with them. Man, and Jock Peterson 100% would have been traded had he not nuked his trade value over this season. 100% would have been gone, but he has taken away any possibility of getting a good prospect in return for him, or even, let's be honest, money at this point. I don't know what happened. He's having a rough year. He'll figure it out. It'll be okay. But it wasn't that we didn't land a big piece. For me, it was we didn't really get rid of some of the guys, at least one of them. I mean, obviously we got rid of Ross. I really thought that we would try to move Kike. Maybe they did try to move Kike.
We knew coming into the season there were surplus players like Ross, like Jock. They already were traded, but weren't traded. They were untraded because Artie Moreno's a little bitch. I know this is going to be really weird coming from me, especially the people that have known me doing this thing for as long as I've been doing it, or any podcast, even old school Happy Fun Time Sports Day, where I was originally blocked by Kike. I don't mind Kike on this team for the rest of the stretch run. I would maybe prefer to have McKinstry just because you maybe, I don't know if he wanted a little more balance. He got enough lefties, I guess, off the bench with Mad Baby and Eddie coming back and even Jock at some point. But to be able to plug him in, we know what Kike somehow can do in the postseason. He always finds a way to have a big series.
Yeah.
So does Jock. I mean, Jock,
yeah.
imagine
Jock
all of a sudden if Kike is hitting, and if he's not, if he stops hitting 170 or whatever it is since his opening day 4 for 5, because it's not a slump, it's a bad season.
It's not a slump.
What is he? He's almost at 200 now, huh? Kike is almost at the Mendoza line after being at 800.
I think Jock is also
day.
exactly at 200, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's a rough go for those two guys. And they absolutely really screwed over the trade value of them, and that's probably part of it. Maybe that's the reason why they are where they're at. You look at Kike, and he does provide certain defensive value for you. He does provide that flex for you, that ability to move people around, to shift lineups around. Obviously, Dave Roberts loves that sort of thing. You understand why they'd hold on to that type of guy, but also, please stop starting him. Please,
he's got to be able to get out of his season-long slump, though.
Yeah, I know. Their solution to that is give more at-bats, but we're in the middle of a 60-game season in which you can't really afford slumps.
At the same time, they have the best record in baseball. The run differential is through the roof, all that kind of stuff. You can kind of play around with second base, and now, in the same way it was in original spring training with CT, with Kiki, and with Luxie, now it's, look, you guys are battling to start in the postseason. And you got 24 games. You got the month of September, 24 games left, I believe it is, to earn your spot.
I mean, let's say
that's fun to be able to kind of do that.
Let's say you have to give somebody at bats to figure things out. I'm not giving Kike at bats to figure things out. I'm giving Gavin at bats to figure things out.
I would rather maybe have Gavin. I would maybe even rather give Beatty some ABs.
Dude, because
Beatty can rake. We know what Matty can do.
I mean, when he's getting his chances to hit, he's hitting. He's stroking the ball. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of good role players on this team that are either A, don't have their swing, or B, aren't getting their at bats to find their swing. So it's kind of a tough spot right now.
I don't know where they kind of gave up on the Beatty at third base thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Because that must have been a thing that they, during practice, they were like, yeah, you're not playing third base.
Hey, he played it at was it Beaumont? He was their starting 3B there, I guess, or whatever, but he didn't look god-awful in spring training 1. Then they just kind of abandoned it and started giving the reps to Eddie, and then now Muncie's over there, and he's not doing terrible, but Max is not the guy. And we got on here Gary pointing out that Max is, batting 202. Even if he's on the upswing, he's not doing all that good. So giving it bats to Jock and Muncie and Kike, it's like at some point, I guess they're kind of getting their hides saved by Barnes not being an automatic out anymore.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you look at it, and if you're saying the number, I mean, before it was the 7-8 hitters, now it's the 8-9 hitters with the new DH. But you were looking at it, and you saw Kike and Barnes lined up, and you were like, all right, well, I guess that's 2 automatic outs to end the inning. So that's a real killer right there. But now that Barnes has found it a little bit, now that Will Smith's getting more reps in and hitting the ball pretty hard and finding gaps finally, you look at that and you're like, well, now there's only one real weak spot in the lineup, and that's one you can afford to work with. As long as there's the defense to go along with it, the plus side defense, then it works out, and that's what they're doing right now. So, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate the fact that we have to give guys at bats to figure things out. It's just unfortunate that it's all at one position. That's the tough part right now.
Can we get a second DH? So why not?
No, that's against the rules, apparently.
Coward. You're just being a big old hater.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember where I saw it in the comments. Somebody had just said it, but the exact thing that I said, oh yeah, Fredo over on YouTube said not enough games this season to work out the issues.
Yeah.
And there's if you're looking at a 60-game season, in a normal season, that's just a hair over 2 months, not that much over 2 months. It's not a lot of time to figure things out, because we've had guys start the season pretty bad and then catch fire the rest of the year and end up pretty good. And we don't have that luxury this year. And that's something that we had not considered until now. So thank you.
And we're learning, Eric.
Yes, says you.
Our friend, Eric. Senior manager or whatever the hell he's supposed to be these days. I forget.
President
of video at Dodgers. Eric says, you guys are smart, like a baseball smarty. And then he fixed it and said smart. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate the love. You are video smart.
Smarty.
And baseball and etc.
All of us smart.
We'll catch up again on Instagram. Oh, no reason.
He doesn't know what it is.
No reason. Never heard of her. Any more comments? Because before we get to the next and final segment, because we are approaching an hour mark, but also we are approaching the playoff mark for the season, and we got to talk about that playoff bubble.
No.
No more comments. We got Gary in the stream and said I used to be on this show. Hi, Gary.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
No, I meant the Smarty also from Eric.
Cheersies.
Thank you from Eric. Person. I don't know. I was going to drink at the same time. My throat's getting very dry. Start us off. Jim Beam, hot shot of the week. Bubble trouble.
There it is.
There it is.
Hello.
I got the white one so it pops better.
Yeah, that's good. That's it. That's a good vote. Here's the thing, guys. We just got off a series with Texas. First of all, did you watch any of the games, by the way? Did you get to see any of them?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit.
First of all, before we boldly jump into this, what was your opinion of the camera angle during the series?
I kind of dig it. I like the center, like the straightaway.
Did you like how it's kind of the tilt? It is a little bit of a downward tilt.
I didn't notice enough because we're watching on a very small laptop.
Okay.
But
watch it on a full screen and watch a highlight. Go back and watch a highlight, see what you think of it. The strike zone's very hard to read from that angle. That might be where we end up playing the World Series. Mm-hmm. That also might be where we end up playing a lot of the National League playoffs. The Major League Baseball's talking about the bubble plan. It's worked with the NHL. It's worked very well with the NBA, obviously. Mm-hmm. AL might play somewhere SoCal. NL might play in Texas.
I don't know how they came up with that. You know, it's almost like at a leadership level, Rob Manfred just fundamentally doesn't get it. You remember that time that Brody Van Wagenen was like talking mad cock, and then he was like, "No, it's totally not. I'm saying that my boss is a dumbass."
Yeah,
so bad.
It's really good.
And both the Wilpons release statements that are like different. Oh, the Mets, you're so bad.
I really like the hot mics this season. The hot mic season's really playing up. Also, did you catch Joe Davis on the hot mic the other day?
I did not.
He was just saying hello to people. He's such a pure man.
You're so
hi. That's the hot mic. So you look at that. You think about the possibility of the Dodgers playing at that ballpark. I'm interested to know your guys' opinion of it. First of all, the camera angle. That's a big thing for me. I definitely complained about it all weekend, and I will hold to that. I want to know what you guys think about it, but also the fact that the stadium is freaking huge, and it's for a team like the Dodgers who rely heavily on the home run, and they do. Yes. They rely pretty heavily on the home run. You see the record that they broke this month. That doesn't play up particularly well. Dodger Stadium, definitely more of a hitter's park than the Rangers Stadium is for sure. But you got to wonder, number one, when are they going to move those damn fences in Texas? Because isn't it weird to you that they have the biggest home run hitter in baseball and then they move the fences back?
Yeah,
you're not really playing to your strengths there, Texas. It seems the very least they could have done is move right field in for him for Joey Gallo to hit it.
Yeah, for real.
Ball. But I mean, you look at that and you think, I think Dave Roberts, the way he put it was, it's not a disadvantage for us because it's not like we're playing on somebody else's turf. Like it's not like we're playing on, let's say they go into a series with the Padres. He's like, the Padres also have to play there too, and they're not playing in their home ballpark. They're playing on So in a sense. Yes, but also for a team that relies heavily on home runs, I think it doesn't help them all that much.
I think all of it's kind of dumb. I think the bubble is the right call. There should be a bubble, but they're doing it backwards. They're doing it wrong. When you have beautiful, sunny Southern California, it would be perfect to be playing baseball at any given time in the month of October.
Right.
My birth month. Muncie pointed out, by the way. I know. I played a big role in it.
Yep.
Muncie pointed out the players noticed how big the park was. He says it's almost a little bit of a joke how big it is. My first take on it when that was sort of leaked or announced or whatever the hell, however you want to say it, when it got out through the media that the National League teams would be playing there or the AL Park or where potentially would be the World Series team games being played there in a bubble system. It's like, how much do you want to screw the Dodgers over? They just did this $100 million renovation to Dodger Stadium. Right. We can't go there. The All-Star game was taken away. We can't even get it next year because the Braves already had one. So they can do their stupid racist chant in the 2021 All-Star game because they won't be canceled about that in time to get rid of it by then. Eric Libra. It's... How are you going to continue screwing the Dodgers so badly on this?
I figured it out, though.
Oh, I'm interested in this take. I'll have a drink.
So you look at the AL SoCal teams, of which there are one, correct? Mm-hmm. There's one AL SoCal team. They are not making the playoffs.
No.
You look at the NL SoCal teams.
Yes.
They are both making the playoffs.
Yes.
Correct? It's not really fair to the rest of the league that they don't get to play in their home ballpark, but your two NL home teams do, possibly. Unless you like, I guess you could just switch the Dodgers and the Padres and make them play at opposite ballparks, couldn't you? Because it's not fair. I mean, if you look at it, if you're making everybody else come to the other ballparks, it's not really fair. But if you're looking at it and saying like, hey, the who's McCourt? The NL is going to have to play in an AL ballpark where they don't get to play, and the AL is going to have to go to NL ballparks where they haven't really got to play that much. It makes it more fair, balances out. I'm just pissed that the Dodgers have to end up playing in Texas of all places. It is just the ultimate slight to be like, hey, in the season following the year that we found out that the Astros cheated you out of a 2017 World Series, and in a season where Joe Kelly got suspended for throwing at said Astros, you're going to go play at the Astros Stadium. That is just like the ultimate gut punch to a team that's already absorbed so much from Robert friggin' Manfred.
Oh, don't get me going on that man again.
Yeah.
It's again, the bubble is the right call. The way they're setting it up could be better, needs to be more well thought out. It's
ultimately, I just kind of hate everything.
At least we know they could win there in the Lowe's warehouse ballpark or whatever it is, because it looks like a warehouse.
What's the shed company called?
Tough Shed.
Tough Shed.
No, hashtag not a sponsor, but we'll take it. I don't know where we're gonna put a shed in here. I still got more Jim Beam stuff I got to put up. Thank you, Jim Beam. Thank you, Jim Beam. There you go. I pushed it. I guess we're done with the Jim Beam hot take here. Fredo says, imagine celebrating that World Series trophy in Minute Maid Park.
I wouldn't hate that.
I'd take a World Series trophy anywhere.
I do hate that freaking ballpark, though.
Yeah.
Such a terrible ballpark.
I mean, Dodger Stadium is so readily available. Just let it happen.
I mean, they don't read too much in Texas, so I get it. I get why they couldn't build a good ballpark, either of them. That's my opinion.
We're very proud of you.
That's all I have to say about that.
Final note before we do bail. I wanted to talk about it last week, but we didn't because we ran so long. But it's still going to be
I've never run long in my life.
It's probably going to still be a point of topic. What is it? Italy or something like that? Where France, former Dodger hater and owner Frank McCourt is destroying yet another sports franchise. You're the guy who knows the most about it, but yeah, they got that full Frank McCourt experience over there in France.
Oh, it was fantastic. Here's the thing. Dodger Nation in particular got about 1,000 messages from French fans, just 1,000 DMs from French
blowing
fans.
Up.
Demanding that, not demanding, I shouldn't say demanding, asking that we point out the injustice of Frank McCourt ruining yet another sports franchise.
Yeah.
And the parallels are just, I mean, it's chef's kiss. It's exactly what he was doing to the Dodgers. Yeah, he just went to another team in Europe, and now he's doing it to them. So basically, the gist of it is he's overcharging for a bunch of things like parking. Does that sound familiar? He's overcharging for things like tickets. Does that sound familiar? He's overcharging for things like concessions. Does that sound familiar? At the same time, he's also bought a team that he doesn't have the money to buy. Does that sound familiar? He's also not paying for big names to come to the team and not paying to keep the good names on the team. Does that sound familiar? My goodness, it is just, he literally is now running the French Dodgers into the ground.
He sold the Dodgers for what? $2 million in 2012?
$2 billion, but yeah, it's close.
You know the lyrics.
It's like he sold them for Juan Pierre's contract. That doesn't sound right.
2 bits as 1 quarter. How did he have no money? I understand he had to give what's her name, Jamie McCourt, all that money for her haircuts and her her little driver lover boy and all that. But how do you not have money to make a team better? You know, if you take care of the team, it can make you money.
Allegedly.
Crazy investment.
I mean, that's what Billy Bean said. I don't know. It's interesting because so many fans were so angry about it that they've literally started an entire social media campaign to get him kicked out of the league and not being able to own a team. Sound familiar?
What's the name of the team again?
Olympique de Marseille.
Well done. We're very proud of you for the way you said that. But
Thank you. I don't know if it's a good soccer team, to be honest with you. Honestly, I don't know.
Well, we know they're not. But
they're not now.
It sucks that Frank's doing it again. But it's one of those things where it's like it's nice that somebody else knows our pain. I guess. Is this a misery loves company sort of thing?
I don't want to force it on the good people of France, I don't know, man. Like it's a pretty crappy thing. I did really like the passion that they came to Dodgers Nation with, and by the way,
they were so thankful that we wrote something
up. We have so many. I had DMs personally. We had DMs to the account. So many people like, thank you for bringing attention to this. Can you send this directly to Frank McCourt? Like people asking us, like, hey, can you make sure he sees this because we want to make sure he knows we hate him. So. Apparently, also a guy who does not really take his fan base into question or into consideration, which sound familiar?
At least he's still getting them $400 haircuts, just like Brooke.
Yeah, just like me.
Big haircut guy over here.
Haircut guy. Big haircut.
So on big haircut. Anyways, guys, we thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being sad with us about our fallen friend of now Buffalo Chicken Strips. It's a great name, by the way. Great new team name.
Buffalo Chicken Strips?
When he makes a softball team. It's a softball team right there. Buffalo Chicken Strips.
Yeah, I'm down.
We will honor you one day if we're ever allowed to play softball again, which we will not be.
Probably not. Cheers.
Go vote, guys. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. Appreciate our unofficial sponsor, Jim Beam, for sending us all this fancy things because it makes us tingly on the inside. Find us on the internet. There's a lot more Dodgers stuff there because there's a website. It's DodgersNation.com. It all comes together really nicely. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. That's the show you're listening to. Next week, we are going to start doing multiple shows per week. But we might need some help with that. We're going to figure some things out anyways. It's going to make it happen. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM. Everywhere podcasts are available for free. We're also on YouTube, which is another free service. Subscribe there. Hit that notification bell, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV.
Guys, I am at BrookMe3 on Twitter. This guy is at RealFRG on Twitter. We are also on Instagram if you want to see our ugly mugs. We are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at Officials Dodger Nation on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for all of your comments, your questions, your concerns, your anger. The Padres got Jason Castro, but they still ask, though. We'll see you next week.
Damn, though. Bye.